The Crew Motorfest is now only 4 days away, which means we are very, very close. But the road is still very far. So today, let us test out some more events and, well, let's have a look at some of the events that I used to play back in the day and used to like back in the day and maybe still like to this day. But before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe if you are new, as it does help out the channel. But first things first, we're not actually starting with a car. I don't know why I did that. We are going over here to this bad boy, the boat. I never really got on with boats, but there was one event in particular that I really, really enjoyed and is still very, very, I think, notorious in this game. And I'll show you what it is in a second. But we are using the Proto Offshore Mark 1, the first boat you get in the game, because I've used the Mark 2 and this one, the V40R, and to be fair, they're not as good as the MK1, so I will stick with the MK1. Oh, and I've tried the wide body M31 as well, but I think this one is the go-to. So we're going to keep with this one. I know how to use this vehicle, and let's head over to Uber Dam. That's right, we are heading all the way west, and we are doing the Uber Dam Powerboat event. If you play this event, you know how iconic it is. It is a very, very good event, and I think it is the first powerboat event you do in the game, or very close to that. So it is very memorable. I remember this event very, very well, and it is very short as well. But obviously, the main aspect of it is the Uber Dam. That's why it's called the Uber Dam. So let's get into this event, shall we? You know it's early as well. You know this event is very early on if it has dialogue in it. No event has dialogue except for like the early ones. But here we go. Obviously, I don't know why I have this metallic green. It doesn't actually look all that nice. I should probably change that, but you know what? We're keeping with it. We don't care at the minute. We are not going over these because everybody knows if you go over them, you will slow yourself down. That's a hack for you there. Everyone knows that. Come on. If you don't know that, then there you go. A free hack. Everybody deserves a little bonus tip, I guess. But let's get ourselves to the dam. We can see it in the distance over here, and going over it is the best thing in the world. It feels like it anyway. But here we go. Let's jump over this amazing dam. Look at this thing. Wow. Not as good as the first time I did that event, but still very, very nice to see. And now obviously you are down in the canyons as well, which is it's just a good event, isn't it? It's just a very solid event. I really like this event, and I'm not a big fan of powerboat events. Even if I've never completed it on Ace, it is still a relatively good event in my opinion. So a big thumbs up from me for the Uber Dam event. And if you haven't played this event, then play it. It's actually a decent little event. Easy as well. Bosh, there we go. Now I will show you to the second event of the day. Back in the day, I loved myself a motocross event, and I respect them. They're not great anymore, but I do respect them. There was an update that came out that just made them very, very poor. And since then, I have not really touched them all that much. But this was definitely my favourite event out of every motocross event in the game. It was just a nice little circuit with loads of jumps, and I mean, it's pretty simple when you're like looking at it. And I've gone over, wow, but it was pretty good, especially in prime motocross days. It was a very, very good event. I just cannot control motocross vehicles anymore. I'm not exactly sure what they did to the motocross vehicles, but they just don't feel good anymore. That's why I just stopped using them and just focused on other stuff. But yeah, for a time, these were definitely my favourite events. Like, you can't backflip like that on any other events, obviously except for Monster Truck, but not like that. Not clean like that either, and especially in a proper event as well, like a race. You can't do that anywhere else. So these events will, always be good in my opinion. Hopefully they do bring them back in the Crew Motorfest. I would like to see them back. I would obviously play them and I've just died. But I would play them still. I do really like the motocross events. It's just the physics of the vehicles that I just don't like. Very good concept, and I'm glad they did introduce them into the game. But no, it was a very good event. Obviously, there is just a lot to do in this event, which I like. A lot of jumps, a lot of turns, and yeah, it's a very solid event in my opinion. We are using the Suzuki RM as well, I think it's called, which is again very solid. I mean, all motocross vehicles pretty much feel the same, unfortunately, in this game. So if you are an avid motocross fan, then most of the vehicles do feel the same. There was a time when there was only 4 motocross vehicles. We have quite a few more now, but yeah, there was only 4 and they literally all felt the same. I just stuck with the Suzuki, and that's the one I, you know, feel most comfortable with. So we've had a powerboat event and a motocross event in this episode so far. We are mixing it up from the last episode where we had 2 street racing events and a drift event. I mean, I could say I do like every discipline, but that would be a lie, because I don't like every discipline, so I can't put them on here. But I mean, there are some that are much better than others. Obviously, street racing is like everyone's favourite, I think, and touring car, maybe drifting, hypercar. That's all like in the mix. Everything else is a bit random, but I'm glad we've got a motocross event in here. It's quite nice to see, and a powerboat event as well. But let's finish this event and get to our second event. It's not second event, our third event. I was focusing too much. Our third event and third vehicle of the episode. Our final event is Serial Jumpers. It is a touring car event that you start in New Orleans, and I believe you go down to Dallas? Is it Dallas? It might be Dallas, I'm not sure. But we are going to use... what vehicle do we use here? Because I've only... not recently, but like in the part... like in like the last year, I've used the 911. So, which vehicle did I use before that? I think it was the Vulcan. It was the Zonda R, actually. The Zonda R was my first touring car vehicle. Still, it's not the greatest vehicle in the game, but I remember clocking miles on this vehicle, so we're going to use it and we're going to switch things up, because I have not touched this vehicle in a very long time. So let's see if it is still decent, because yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've tested out this vehicle. But this event is very, very unique because it involves touring cars and there's a lot of jumps, which you don't normally see. And these cars definitely shouldn't be doing jumps like that, but you know, it's a Crew 2, we can do whatever we want, and we are getting absolutely butchered here. We are getting absolutely demolished somehow. Here we go. Get some speed. Get some speed, Pagani, come on. If it was a Zonda R, what do you call it? A Zonda or a Pagani? Oh, hello mate. A Pagani or a Zonda? Just you know, pure Pagani or pure Zonda. Because I'll just call it a Pagani. Doesn't matter what Pagani vehicle you're using, it is just a Pagani. And I don't know what difficulty I am on right now, but these vehicles are like, look, we are actually in a proper race right now, which is quite entertaining to watch. But no, yeah, a lot of jumps in this event, which is nice to see. Obviously fast touring car vehicles as well. Lots of straights. It is just a very, very solid event, I think. I think it only came out, well no, it came out like 3 years ago, but 2 years into the game's lifespan, and it's a pretty good event still to this day. I will definitely clock into it here and then, so that's always nice to see when an event actually has good replayability. And this is, yeah, a very solid event, a decent vehicle, not the strongest vehicle in the touring car category. Obviously, as you can tell, we are pretty much lacking behind now. They are catching up to us pretty quickly, but you know what? We don't care about the money. We are just here for the Sunday drive, I guess. Decent brakes on this thing though. We'll just avoid the jumps for now. But this was the 3 events that I chose for today's episode. Obviously, 3 more days of this until the Crew Motorfest does come out. Not long now. Obviously, I'm talking about the deluxe version of the game coming out. Unfortunately for those with the standard edition, will still have to wait an extra 3 days, so 6 more days if you do have the standard edition. But don't worry, I will be posting a lot of Crew Motorfest content in the coming days, and especially when it's out as well, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe for that. But yeah, they were my 3 events and my 3 vehicles for today's episode. Tell me your favourite events and vehicles from the Crew 2 down below, and I will see you in the next video.